Elisabeth Volkenrath, née Müller, is known as a supervisor in concentration camps during the Second World War. Elisabeth was born in 1919 in Silesia. She started her career as a handyman and later got a job at a hairdresser. She was remembered by many prisoners as a she-devil, because before her death she did not feel guilty for what she had done. The German authorities lured women to work in a concentration camp very successfully. Employees were promised 105 Reichsmarks, and 35 more were given out for additional work. Also, new underwear was allocated to those who passed the selection. In the presence of sadistic inclinations, there was an opportunity to become a camp commander in one of the external concentration camps. Elisabeth Müller joined the service of an ordinary matron in 1941 in Ravensbrück. Here she gained experience in the treatment of prisoners from sadists like her. Probably, the lack of money and career growth in a barbershop forced Elisabeth to consider working in a concentration camp. In 1942, she transferred to Auschwitz-Birkenau, where she also continued to work as a warden. It was here that she met Heinz Volkenrath, one of the bosses at Auschwitz and who had a good reputation among other guards. Heinz also started his career as an order monitor in 1941. As a result, in 1943 Elisabeth Müller and Heinz Volkenrath got married. According to one of the surviving prisoners, because of falling in love, Elisabeth became more merciful and softened her attitude towards the prisoners. They say that having found love, Elisabeth Volkenrath began to sing songs and compose poems, and at the sight of her husband she simply beamed with happiness. According to the testimony of one of the survivors, Elisabeth saved one of the prisoners from the hands of her husband, but this was the only documented fact that the diabolical matron saved the life of any of the prisoners. In 1944, Elisabeth became the senior supervisor of all the cells for female prisoners at Auschwitz. Having gained power, sadistic tendencies got out. The only entertainment for Elisabeth was beating or torturing prisoners for any look, sigh, cough, and so on. Any prisoner was a potential target for beating. Elisabeth was very fond of selecting prisoners for the gas chamber. By her order, the whole process took place under classical music. From what she had done, the cruel supervisor Elisabeth felt a perverse sense of pleasure. According to the memoirs of former prisoners, Elisabeth Volkenrath was associated with classical music, as well as a rubber baton, which the warden practically did not let go of her hands. When Auschwitz was closed due to the approach of the Red Army, Elisabeth was transferred to the Bergen-Belsen concentration camp. In February 1945, she was appointed the senior warden of this camp. Little is known about her work in Bergen-Belsen, but Elisabeth did not change her habits and favorite things. In April 1945, Elisabeth Volkenrath was arrested by British troops. During the trials, Elisabeth Volkenrath surprised the judges with her spontaneity and naivety. In court, a former prisoner of the Auschwitz concentration camp, Vera Fischer, testified about the crimes of the warden. Elisabeth Volkenrath denied all the charges, justifying herself by saying that the concentration camp simply had strict rules and conditions. Trying to refute her guilt, Elisabeth said that for the first time she hears about her intentions to personally select people for the gas chambers. Despite all attempts to evade responsibility, refuting all the facts and evidence, the court sentenced Elisabeth Volkenrath to death. A few hours before the execution, Elisabeth sang the anthem of Nazi Germany and patriotic songs with her friend Irma Gries. This gives an understanding that the woman did not feel guilt and regret for the murders, tortures and beatings of unfortunate people. On December 13, 1945, Albert Pierpoint carried out the death sentence in Hameln prison. She was hanged. Elisabeth Volkenrath went down in history as the diabolical overseer of Auschwitz. Thank you for watching the video to the end. Friends, please like and subscribe to the channel.